What you doing? Right. We are gonna get started. How do you guys feel about a grounding ritual today? Oh, my coffee is still too hot. Good morning, Christina. So lovely to see you. I miss you. I miss you. Also, hell yeah, Allie. You might not need them. But better to have them and not need them. And need them and not. Right. Always down for the thing. Running kids' rides. That's awesome. Local amusement park. Blackpool Pleasure Beach. That sounds awesome. I am also planning a photo shoot for the 21st. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I know, right? For reals. All right. Let's do a grounding ritual to start your day. So excited for Allie. The moons have aligned. Sit with your hands in your lap and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it for a moment. And as you let it out through your mouth, let go of the tension from the night and the grogginess of the morning. Take another deep breath in. As you breathe in, imagine you are breathing in pure love. As you breathe out, imagine you are breathing out forgiveness. Take a third deep breath in, and as you do so, imagine a light coming in at the top of your head. It enters at the top of your head and spreads down over your face, neck, and shoulders. This cleansing light now expands along your back, down your legs, and out through your feet. It is as if cleansing light is a constant flow of soothing energy entering from your head and passing out through the arches of your feet. You are just outside the door of your domain. The air is crisp and cool. The evergreens sway slightly in the breeze, and the ground has a large patch of moss at your feet. Step barefoot onto the moss. Feel how soft it is. Feel the solid ground underneath. That light coming into your head can now be translated into energy that you can send out your feet. Convert the light into roots and send the roots out the bottoms of your feet and deep into the earth, as deep as you can. The soil is fresh, easy to toil, easy to carve a path down. Feel how anchored you are, how close to the earth. Reach as far down as you can. The earth hugs your roots comfortably, no matter how sharp or curly, no matter how many times they split off. Slowly pull the roots back up the way they came. Your roots slither through the dark, the soil filling in its wake. Pull the roots back into your feet, convert it back to the light, and let the light filter through you and out the top of your head. Take one more deep breath in and begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. When you are ready, open your eyes. Welcome. If you are just joining us, we just did our morning grounding ritual. If you are interested in a domain ritual, you can sign up for my newsletter, which is in the description below. You get a free meditation for creating your own private Idaho where you can chill out and be relaxed and just a nice place to gather your thoughts and not be haunted by them. Until then, you can join me here for coffee in the mornings on YouTube. Mm-mm. 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 Yeah, there we go. I didn't start it over. All right, let's pull today's card. All right. So I'm so glad that you can speed your plans up, Allie. I know how tough things have been. Yeah, right? Yeah. Oh, oh, oh. All right, I think these are shuffled well enough. All right, let's see what's up. The Five of Swords. Which is melee. All the things. Five of Swords. What's the point of winning when you have no one to share your successes with? Even though you may have won the argument, you are in danger of losing your relationships and reputation. Fully loaded in survival mode, you'll do whatever it takes to smoke out the competition. You're in a constant state of conquest and striving, no matter what the costs. Feeling called out. This need to be right is inflating your ego, driven by a fear of losing control. Granted, I am never right. I'm just going to put that out there. Your ambition is to be admired, but also drives people away with the fear that you will eventually throw them under the bus. I hope that's not the case. Achievements are met with resentment instead of acknowledgement that you secretly desire. Ask yourself if you feel fulfilled by your wins and at what cost. Lose the battle, win the war. I mean, I'm doing this shit for my mom. I am considering doing this like once a month or once a season. Where I probably won't make nearly as much money, but people will still get the art that they desire. Okay. We're going to talk about servitors today. Evocation. So the difference between invocation and evocation is that evocation is things that you create, while invocation is kind of calling on a god or goddess or spirit or whatever, a separate entity to come in and help. So we're going to talk about evocation today. Evocation. The term evocation means to call forth, and it is used to describe all magical techniques which serve to bring forth some kind of entity into defined space, such as a bottle or a crystal, or simply visualized form which has shape and character. The practice of evocation has generally come to be associated with the so-called demons of grimoire, such as the Keys of Solomon, and has, in some quarters, acquired a dubious reputation. When you evoke a spirit, it is usually to get it to perform some kind of task for you. Again, such pragmatism is seen as unspiritual and therefore an act of lesser magic. In other quarters, evocation is simply frowned upon, as it is felt that magicians should not order spirits around. Neither arguments are convincing, and evocation is a very useful magical technique which, once the basic elements have been grasped, it has numerous applications. Good morning. I've been here since the start, but kind of a lump following the 3-mile walk. Yay, glad you could make it. Good morning, Raven. I'm talking about servitors. Well, granted, you said that you were present the whole time, so of course you know this already. Sorry, I got a burp coming on. A servitor is an entity consciously created or generated using evocatory techniques to perform a task or a service. In the Western esoteric tradition, such entities are sometimes referred to as thought forms, while in Tibetan magic, for example, they are known as tulpas. Now, I disagree. I think there is a difference between tulpas and servitors. In fact, tulpas are like, let's take Rainbow Dash as an example, right? So if we are making her, the idea of her as a servant of some kind to like remind you of something or to help you find things or whatever, right? Then she would be a servitor. If you want her as your best friend, if you want her to hang around, be a mentor or anything like that, she would be a tulpa. If she is worshipped as a goddess among all your little group of witchy bits, then she would be an egregore. Yes, like the My Little Pony, Rainbow Dash. Yes. This example was pulled from 4chan, where, yes, in fact, chaos magicians were invoking and evocating. Evocating isn't a word, and I hate that he uses that. If you are interested in learning more, I took them down. No, I didn't take them down. My workshops were on the topics of evocation and working with spirits in general. So I needed to correct him there. Tulpas and servitors are not the same thing. Oh, what is this? You sleepy time? Also, hi, Tani. I'm so glad to see you. Hi, Debbie. I'm so honored that you come to these. Like, it's not a productive stream. It's just chill coffee stream where I read books. I've taken to walking the kids to school again. It's warm enough. It is warm enough. It is currently 64 degrees and it's only 10 in the morning. So I suspect it is going to be a doozy. I wish only 3 p.m. Well, it's nap time. You're still like hanging out, right? Like maybe you can take a nap. Servitors can be usefully deployed to perform a wide range of tasks or functions on your behalf. Now the design sequence. The following gives a basic approach to designing servitors for a wide range of tasks and demonstrates how you can utilize some of the techniques presented earlier. In this sequence, servitors are treated very much like cybernetic terms, as though they are some kind of programmable astral machine. Right. And they are temporary beasts. I would not advise having a servitor that would last for more than a definite amount of time. I have a 5-year-old. Oh, they outlawed naps. No, 5-year-olds need naps too. You're an inspiration. I do have a zip off in a... Oh, I have to zip off in a bit, and I didn't want to sacrifice. Yeah, I gotcha. Words do not work, but I'm glad you could make it for the time that you can hang out. It breached 50 here while I was on my walk. It's supposed to go up to the mid-60s today. It was 75 yesterday in Baltimore. 75. And then dropped to like 65 because the wind. Hi, doll. I love you. I'm so glad you could make it today. I'm still here just lagging and lurking. No problem. All right. So first, define the general intent. The first step in designing a servitor is to decide the general sphere of influence into which your intention falls, such as healing, protection, binding, harmony, luck, divination, mood enhancement, success in, and so forth. I went to my interview pretty much froze to death. Oh, you can't nap with toddlers even when you try to nap with them. I had a kid sister in high school, so I never slept, and she would kick me during co-naps. Oh, that's terrible. Defining your general intent will assist you if you wish to use symbols and magical correspondences in creating your servitor. For example, if you were interested in creating a servitor to act within the sphere of healing, then you could assemble any associations, symbols, emotions, memories, etc., which you relate to the concept of healing. By consulting a book of magical correspondences such as 777, you could build up chains of correspondences, planetary figures, scents, colors, planetary hours, etc. How far you go in this direction is very much a matter of personal choice. I don't use a lot in the line of correspondences when it comes to my servitors. Yeah, I don't. I also don't build it out of the sigil. Yeah, I also don't build it out of the sigil like he does. All right, so defining specific intent. Here you are creating the core of the servitor's purpose, the statement of intent which is analogous to the servitor's etheric DNA. Formulating the servitor's statement of intent may necessitate a good deal of self-analysis into your motives, desires, realistic projections of goals, etc. Ain't that the truth? I made a sugar wax yesterday. So today I'm doing full body skincare routine to prep for waxing tomorrow. I'm so excited. I haven't sugared in about a year because of the toddler thing, and now I have waiting for the second part of that, taking a sip of coffee. Self-care servitor. Someone to keep you company while you do the cool things to yourself and remind you when like the time is up, like on your mask or like on your exfoliation. A little more time to do the self-care things. I'm allergic to nickel. Oh, so you have to sugar. Today I start working with the second rune in the alphabet. It's 9 days work with each. That is amazing. I might pull a rune today and you can help me decipher it. Where did I leave off? As in sorcery operations, it is appropriate to use techniques such as SWAT, outlined in Chapter 5, or ask advice from your preferred form of divination. To continue the example of a healing servitor, an appropriate statement of intent might be to promote rapid recovery and health in Sako, or whoever you're doing the healing for. Once you have determined the appropriate intent to form the basis of your servitor, the statement can be rendered into a sigil as explained in the previous chapter. Yes, make a sigil, absolutely. This example shows how the statement of intent was turned into a sigil, which during the launch of the servitor will become part of its form. So this is what they made for their healing sigil. I think it's preposterous. I do not make the sigil into the thing. Instead, what I do, I do a sigil and stuff like that, but because I'm an artist, So I'll show my complicated one first. This was Ivy. I did the witch naming practice. What looks like a kitty? Oh, the sigil looks like a kitty. Yeah, exactly. So this was Ivy, and she helped me remind me to clean. Basically, she eats astral rats and helps me do chores by encouraging me. And then create inspiration and encourage me to do dishes, to take care of trash, to clean the cat box, to bathe more than once a week, and to vacuum. She can feed freely on astral rats, but must watch her figure and be ready to work. Should she cop an attitude that I can't stand for, I shall create a sigil that will act as a kill switch. She shall keep herself clean. Every full moon, we will hang out for sake of bonding, and I will gift some kind of treat or affection. While she is free to work wherever, whenever, she must be present on Wednesdays until chores are done. She will be summoned with patchouli incense. She will be retired on March 1st, 2020, and she is free to stay or go with nothing expected of her. I will no longer meet with her for maintenance or summon her. And then I decided to do something simpler, which I might recreate and do again. Perhaps I should start with something simpler. A simple servitor to guard my sleep from Nobu until 8 a.m. Do not upset my cat. Work until March 21st. It feeds on dreams, and each time I sleep undisturbed until 8 a.m., it will get a cherry candy cane. Be nice to my cat. I never got to color him, but he's supposed to snuggle with my cat, basically, while I sleep. And it's totally cool for Nobu to sleep at the foot of the bed until 8 a.m. and freaking get to it. I kind of don't mind that Nobu has been waking me up at 7:30 at this point, because it kind of gets me ready for my day. However, my nap time gets bumped earlier in the day as well, which I kind of don't like. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Good morning, darling. Yeah, Allie got a new job. Okay, so that's how I make my servitors. I guess you could do the thing where you take the letter forms and you make like a creature out of the sigil. I don't do that. I do make a sigil for binding that thing, and I also kind of like bring it into a vessel of some kind. Symbols appropriate to the servitor's task. There is a wealth of magical and mythic symbols which you can draw upon when creating a servitor, which can represent different qualities, abilities, and attributes. There is the symbolism of color, smell, sound, and other senses to draw upon, to refine the program which forms the basis of your servitor. You could embellish the sigil by adding other symbols. For instance, you could put it in a Star of David. This illustration develops the healing servitor. Yeah. Its core sigil has been placed within a hexagram, and the number 7 has been added to it. Here, the hexagram represents balance, health, life enhancement, and solar qualities, and forms the element symbols of fire, representing healing fire, the burning up of a fever, and water, representing expulsion of toxins through sweat, calming influences. Now it's a star kitty, exactly. This number 7 represents the idea of harmony and also represents the duration of the servitor's operation. The entire figure forms the instructions for the servitor, which will be visualized as forming a part of it during its launch phase. Symbols, the language of the deep mind. To get to grips on how symbols work, perhaps the best analogy is of the deep unconscious mind, of being like an ocean which is dotted with islands, with each island being an individual self. This analogy emphasizes how individuals, events, and images are connected at a deep level, in contrast to the prevailing psychological models of the mind, which tend to emphasize the division of the psyche into subjective and objective, inner and outer, mind and body. That was a long sentence. Yeah, I'm getting ready for Lisa's stream as well, which is why I'll be ending a little earlier today so that I can get over to Lisa's stream where I will be co-hosting. Oh, my belly. It's like, hey, breakfast. To extend this analogy further, the island of selfhood from which arises our sense of being, unique individuals of I-ness, can be likened to an iceberg, most of the mass of which is below the surface, that is, below self-awareness. This iceberg arises from the deep mind and is in continual interaction with it. Both iceberg and ocean are complementary expressions of consciousness. The iceberg is a mass of psychic structures which form the internalization of experience into thoughts, feelings, memories, attitudes, and beliefs. Lisa Daly. Yeah, Lisa Daly. Sprints and talk about something having to do with the self-publishing stuff. She does not have a very long name. Yeah. Lisa Daly, the coach. Yeah. I could use some solid productivity before I start my skin stuff. Right on. Oh, okay. I thought I was subbed to her. I have to check out. Again, I hate when you of tubes unsubs you from people. I am noticing that I am forever around 385 because it's been unsubbing people from my channel, and then people resub, and then unsub, and then resub. Not this channel, but my AuthorTube channel. But we have time. And I don't look terrible, right? I can totally go onto Lisa Daly's stream looking like I do. Maybe I'll put on some earrings. Let's see. There are those which we regard as uniquely personal, those structures which are formed through the process of education and enculturation, which are social, and those archetypal images which are of a mythic nature. The term embedded is used to refer to the mass of psychic structures that form the basis of our worldview, yet are below the surface of the deep mind. This worldview is a product of our culture, but it also has inbuilt contradictions which depend from the mythic world. Sorry. Oh, you guys are sweet. Jeez. Best-selling coach, writing coach. Yeah, best-selling writing coach, Lisa Daly. Yeah, that's her account. Yes. For example, we tend to believe that magic is impossible or supernatural, and yet the myths that society tells itself through books, films, and stories gives us, at least temporarily, the hope that this is not the case. The iceberg of individuality arises from the medium of mind which we all share. The iceberg itself can be seen as a complex lattice, composed of the interconnected psychic structures from which arises the sense of personality and our sense of unique I-ness, like the letter I-ness. Yeah, Christina's mind is in the gutter today. These icebergs are not immutable or static entities, though we tend to regard ourselves as such. I do not. I am constantly changing. They are continually being shaped by experience. One might even say that magic as a way of inducing change and transformation, works by heating up the iceberg from within, so that the individual becomes more responsive and adaptive to the tides of consciousness that flow around the psyche, rather than remaining frozen and rigid. Experiences that remain close to the surface are waking awareness are organized using the faculty of language, the main source by which we communicate experiences to each other and order experience to ourselves. However, the deeper that an experience becomes embedded below the surface into the deep mind, the more likely it is to become encoded as a symbol. We react far more quickly to symbols than we do to written information. Very simple graphic symbols can convey a great deal of information that would take up much more space if written out. Road signs are a good example of the immediacy of symbols. Imagine the chaos that would ensue if road signs were all composed of words. Symbols are defined as non-linguistic graphic figures, which represent a more abstract quality, idea, principle, or concept. In terms of the iceberg analogy, they are encapsulations of experiences which contain, bound into their structure, emotions, memories, and other associations, all of which can be freed when the symbol is focused upon. Symbols play an important role in magic, as they are the common language which is shared by both the waking awareness and the deep mind. Magical systems are bodies of technique and frameworks for ordering experience, with recourse to specific sets of symbols, which gradually becomes embedded in the deep mind. Magical exercises, for example, meditate on tarot card images, serve to fix symbols in our minds, and the deep mind often clothes itself in those symbols to communicate insights and information to the waking mind. Some magical symbols, for example, the pentagram and the hexagram, appear in many different cultures. It does appear that the symbols are universal, in that this understanding of them is not limited to cultural barriers. The power of symbols is that they give access to strata of the deep mind with an immediacy and intensity that written or spoken language simply cannot. They bring into awareness vast amounts of information which may be too abstract or complex to process semantically. They can also be used to tap memories of experience that has very, very powerful emotional associations, which are brought into awareness when the symbol is focused on. Although symbols are usually thought of as graphic designs, there are other carriers of information which can be thought of as symbols. These symbols are media which have a very powerful effect on us, although we are not always aware of it, and carry associations which are brought into awareness or at least stirred when we encounter them. Such media have very important role in magical practice, and examples are sound, smell, and color. The design, so graphic design, graphic symbols, it's the thing. The design of graphic symbols in magic is very much part of the glamour and mystery the occult has for many people. Books full of weird symbols and figures which are purported to have all kinds of mysterious inherent powers, and geometric figures chalked on the floor to summon demons. Examples of graphic figures can be found in many magical textbooks and fall into three categories: those which derive from magical or religious systems, those constructed by the magician for a specific purpose, figures which arise from the deep mind, which also the first category includes the type of figures referred to above, examples of which include astrological and planetary symbols, geometric patterns such as the pentagram, and secret alphabets. It is generally held that personally designed sigils, or as in the third case, discovered symbols, are more beneficial than using someone else's symbols, as the former will have more personal associations and reflect the user's psychocosm more accurately. That was a struggle. Than anything from a book. If you are already assimilating magical symbol systems, however, there is no reason why you shouldn't incorporate them into Servitor design. Again, this comes down to personal preference. Number 4, is there a time factor to consider? Here, you should consider the duration of the Servitor's operation. In other words, do you want the Servitor to be working continuously or only at specific periods? Here, you may wish to take into account phases of the moon, astrological conjunctions, or planetary hours, for example, which could be added into the Servitor's symbolic instructions. The healing Servitor above, for example, was instructed to be active for a period of 7 days, affecting its target recipient for 7 minutes at 7-hour intervals. This instruction serves to reinforce the number symbolism and association with harmony. It is also at this point that you should consider what happens after the servitor has performed its task. Generally, there are two forms of servitor: those which are task-specific and those which have a general purpose nature. For the moment, though, I'll concentrate on task-specific servitors. These are servitors which are created for specific tasks, such as the example of a healing servitor created to work on a particular person. It is generally held to be preferable that when a servitor has completed its task, the servitor should be disassembled by its creator. There are two approaches to doing this. Firstly, one can encode a self-destruct instruction into the servitor at the time of its creation, where the duration of its existence is defined in terms of the duration of its task or the fulfillment of a specific condition. For example, the healing servitor could be defined so that its sigilized statement of intent is to promote rapid recovery and health in name, working at 777 intervals, the sum of which is the spell of your life. Another approach is to perform a ritual reabsorption of the servitor, mentally drawing it back from its task, taking it apart by visualization, taking back the original desire which sparked its creation, and taking apart or destroying any material base which you have created for it. I prefer the kill switch, where, I read out my instructions to you, and she has an expiration date, right? So when the expiration date happens, she can dismantle, she can poof out of existence, she can hang out if she really wants to. Mine didn't want to hang out. Glad you're back! While classical occult theory says that if you do not look after your thought forms, they will psychologically sense for terminating the life of servitors which have completed their design task, that you are reclaiming responsibility for that desire complex which you used to create the servitor. Is a name required? The servitor can be given a name which can be used in addition to its sigil for creating, powering, and controlling it. A name also acts to further create a servitor's persona. A name can reflect the servitor's task or be formed from a mantric sigil of its statement of intent. The example healing servitor was given the name Tummy Hum, a rather whimsical reference to its function. Is a material base required? The material base is some physical focus for the servitor's existence. This can help to define the servitor as an individual entity, and can be used if you need to recall the servitor for any reason. Examples of a material base include bottles, rings, crystals, small figurines, as used in fantasy role-playing, or figures crafted from modeling compounds. Bodily fluids can be applied to the material base to increase the perceived link between creator and entity. This is very much a matter of personal taste. Alternatively, the servitor can remain freely mobile as an etheric entity. I tend to find that one-shot task-specific servitors can be left as etheric entities, while for entities which have more of a long-term use, material base can often be helpful. For others, it might be possible to link their use to a specific identifiable state of consciousness, which forms part of the core associations which one builds up for a servitor. It is also possible to link a servitor to a specific smell, such as perfume or essential oil, so that each time the oil is applied, the servitor is activated, such as I specified that patchouli would activate ivy. This can be particularly useful when creating servitors for general healing, protection, or enhancement of a particular mood. A dab of the perfume can be put onto the servitor's material base, and the perfume should be inhaled during the launch of the entity. Is a specific shape required? Servitors can be created to have any desired shape, from tiny homunculi to morphic spheres capable of extruding any required appendage. The shape you choose to identify with this particular thought form can add another level of representational identity to the entity. A common practice, though, is to visualize the servitor as a featureless sphere, pulsing with energy, glowing with appropriate chosen colors, into which has been impressed its sigilized instructions. Servitor launch sequence. Oh, where are your points? Okay, so here's the thing. Once you have designed a servitor, the next step is to launch upon its appointed mission. There are many different ways of doing this, and you can experiment with techniques described earlier in this book. A following sequence can be experimented with as an introductory example to servitor work. So, the way that Phil Hine parses apart his launch is first you banish, so you empty out the space that the servitor will be occupying. You fill it with the statement of intent. Then they do a lightning flash exercises for charging it. Then the airburst servitor launch, poof. And then the banishing reprise. And yeah, you blast off the servitor. Let yourself relax for a moment. If you feel it necessary, repeat the banishing ritual which you used at the beginning of the rite. And then they talk about general purpose servitors. So we can continue that talk tomorrow. And I think I'm going to read the banishing ritual and the lightning flash exercises tomorrow. So come with an open mind, which means I'll probably skip the grounding ritual. Well, actually, no, I will probably not skip the grounding ritual because it will put you in the headspace that you should probably be when you do these exercises. Oh, I'm frozen. Nah? No? Okay. So I think I'm going to revive Ivy. I won't tell anyone, promise, she says, not wanting to be poisoned. You guys are so funny. So that is Phil Hine's 2 cents on Servitors. Sweet, I don't work tomorrow, so I can be there the whole stream. Oh, cool. I'll be there. Awesome. I look forward to seeing you there. Yep. Other stream starts soon. Is the room open? Because if the room is open, then I will end this stream and go over. Oh, want some hot chocolate? Catch you on Lisa's stream. If you liked this video at any point, please hit the like button. If you would like to see tomorrow's rituals for launching a servitor, then please hit subscribe, share, whatever. No. She already messaged me, but bye. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Guess who didn't end the stream before leaving the